like, so have you done like a lot of theater? Like, do you have like a big theater background? I've never done theater. It kind of terrifies me.
I've done my fair share
Yeah.
of stage work, DC, New York, some regional stuff.
Okay.
So
All right,
I pay
man.
my dues in that way.
I feel like I've like cheated, as an actor by not doing that, by not,
Well, it's not over.
Yeah, I know, exactly. But
Like
now
what?
it's like, I just watched Birdman recently, and now I'm like, I don't want to do theater at all. That makes me feel like I'm trying to seek some sort of, validation or something.
But you wanted to do it before.
I can say this, being an LA native, like I grew up in Los Angeles, and there's no theater culture here really. It's all movies, it's all Hollywood, it's film, and I guess that's really what my passion was, and I really just wanted to be making movies. So I kind of, bypassed that. But I discovered, theater when I first traveled outside of Los Angeles. I think I discovered theater really in England. It was my first trip to England, and I went to my first play, and I was like 17 or so. And I was really inspired, but I was like, man, it's challenging, it's different.
I mean, the main thing about it is there's nowhere to go
Yeah.
when it goes wrong.
Yeah. I feel like I kind of cheated my way in, though. It's interesting when you're working with actors that come from completely different backgrounds and different, styles of working, and you're trying to like find that,
Well, I noticed,
through line.
yeah, how do
Yeah.
you guys fit together?
Yeah, exactly. We're all different.
Because I noticed that in Fury,
Yeah.
It's you guys in the tank,
Yeah.
and there's a sort of I felt like there was a physical language.
Yeah.
There was a physical, sometimes aggressive, sometimes violent
Yeah.
language between you guys, and it goes well with that story. How did you guys come to that because it's to that understanding of what was okay? You know what I'm saying? Because you guys were so physical with each other.
It was
It was no stunt.
No, there was no choreography like
Yeah.
stunt-wise in the movie and things like that. When we fought for real, and it really came from the director, David Ayer, who, well, basically a big part of his process was like we got together and we fought every day. We just beat each other up.
For real.
For real.
Yes.
Like every morning we'd wake up at like 5 a.m. and we'd get together and we'd fight for a few hours.
Meaning like with the gloves or
yeah, with like like those like thin paddle the MMA gloves, and just go at it, and then go into rehearsals after that, and then we'd bring that violence into the scenes, and we'd create these like crazy scenarios that were completely not the film, but they would get like really violent. Sometimes the most violent things would happen in the rehearsals. In that room, we'd be choking each other out on the ground. And yeah, it got really violent, but when we got on set, we felt that freedom to just kind of, hit each other. And,
you're not going to hurt the other guy.
Oh, and if we do, we're all on the same page. We all wanted that. We had like a weird preparation for Fury, but I'm curious what yours was like, because that's an incredible performance. I mean, I loved your movie, man, and I'm a huge James Brown fan. I'm curious about how you embodied his character, like what you did.
I mean, for me, it was such a daunting task from the beginning that,
I can't imagine.
I pretty much was like, all my friends and family, I didn't talk to them for at least the first 3 weeks. I think I was just so, engrossed in, okay, who is this man? Reading the books. I was given a whole bunch of footage, and eventually was given some people to talk to that knew him, family members and friends, and as far as the physical,
I mean, that was amazing. Like, I mean, his moves are hard to replicate. I can't do that.
Yeah, well,
I mean, like,
I couldn't
just,
either.
How do you
I
do
couldn't
that
do it
though?
either.
Like, that was amazing, man.
It was just, every day I have to lace it up, and I turned one room in my apartment into a dance studio.
Oh, okay.
And I had mirrors up top and mirrors on the bottom, but there was like space in the middle, so I could separate what my upper body was doing from my lower body.
Wow.
It was just a matter of each day going through that process. It was like 5 hours a day in general, and then it became 8 hours.
How much time did you have though?
It was really tight because we I think I got the role at the end of August. We started rehearsals in September. We were shooting by November.
What?
So
Oh my God.
so yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
it was
That's not a lot of time
it
to really
was
figure it out.
not when it's James Brown.
No, exactly. Yeah, that's a really daunting task for such an iconic person, you know. But you're used to that now. You're always jumping from iconic person to iconic person. Look at this.
I don't think you could get used to.
Well, those are tough roles, man. I
What-
can't imagine the responsibility and in doing it. But you did a killer job, really did. How do you feel about, I guess, the transition into like the franchise world? I mean, that's a big role, man. I'm really excited about that.
I'm excited about it too. I
Yeah.
mean, like I'm beyond like excited. It's like to the point where you feel numb, and then your mind goes off into, okay, how do I achieve that?
Yeah.
You know, there are a lot of different ways this story can go. You know, and it's one of the questions I actually want to ask you is that you, as an actor, you in some ways are another writer on the project.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, you talked about how you guys would meet and fight, and there was improvisation.
Yeah.
Like, how much did the script change from those interactions daily?
Oh man, the script changed so much. I mean, so much of the film was improvised. You know, every take was different. I feel like they could have cut together like 30 different films out of the footage that we shot.
When I look at what you had to do in the film, I see that you're, you know, for a lot of those scenes, you have to be so emotionally open.
Yeah, yeah.
And exposed.
It was just tough, and you know, speaking for myself, I didn't want to corrupt the experience with having fun. You know, there was not levity in between takes. We were just kind of in it.
Yeah.
We shot the movie in an interesting way where it was continuous hours. We didn't take lunch breaks. We didn't take any breaks. We stayed on set all day long. There weren't any distractions and things to take us away from our work.
It's like you had like, you know, army rations.
Yeah, no,
as
actually,
opposed to lunch.
sometimes we did, but and it was actually an interesting setup because the movie takes place in 24 hours, and because of that, we didn't visit any location more than once. You know, we were constantly on the road and moving. Therefore, we were able to shoot a lot of it in order,
Right.
which made it easier to map out, you know, the
your
transition
art. Yeah.
and stay in the world.
And where'd y'all film?
We filmed in England.
Got it.
In England.
Got it. Got it.
But
got
but
it.
just a question for you though: how much improvisation was there in you know, playing James Brown, you know, on this film?
Well, you know, the important, you know, things that were set were the structure, this nonlinear structure of this guy sort of telling his own story, talking to the camera. What was not, you know, set, and what we could, you know, play around with a lot. And I think Tate and I, the director, are both from the South. I'm, you know, was born in South Carolina, and am very familiar with you know, Southern dialect and slang.
Okay.
And so some of that was not written in the script. It was us finding ways of, okay, how would James Brown actually say this, as opposed to the way that the writers might have written, you know, a scene. And so there was a lot of playing around with things. So, you know, I never knew what would actually end up in the movie because we were playing around with things so much.
That's nice to have that like freedom.
Well,
like,
yeah,
that's the way it should be all the time. You know.
Yeah, I think it helps you to keep things spontaneous, because you never in real life, you don't know what you're really gonna say from moment to moment. You don't have it all planned out.
And those best moments are the spontaneous things, you know.
So I found that, you know, the improvisation came there, and then it also, you know, there were some moments where, you know, I'm singing to playback in a lot of moments, but then they would let me, because we had a crowd there, we had like actual people that wanted to see a concert and see a performance. You know, there were moments where playback went in, and I'd still be singing Man's World, and they would shoot that, and I would still be doing Please Please, and you know, some of those things ended up in the movie. So it's a mixture of the two of us.
That's cool.
And so those are my, you know, some of it's my rendition of him. It just made it fun. It made you forget that you were the actor and not him.